Sa video na ito, atin pong pag-aralan kung paano mag-factor at kung paano kuhanin ang greatest common factor ng isang expression. Let's have this example. We're going to find out the greatest common factor of the expression 4x y to the fifth power plus 8xy. Unang-una, in this case, ang gagawin natin is to find first for the prime factors of our whole number, which is 4 and 8. Then, yung atin pong variable, expand din po natin. Kung ano yung kanyang exponent, yun po yung dami ng atin pong variable to expand. So, yung prime factors ng 4 is 2 times 2. And we have, since meron lamang po tayo ditong isang x, isang beses lamang po natin siya isusulat. Kaya lang, yung y po natin is 5, yung kanyang exponent, and therefore, we have to expand our y raised to the fifth power 5 times. Then, kukuhanin din po natin yung prime factors ng 8, and that is equals to 8 times, or 2 times 2 times 2. 3 times po natin i-multiply para makuha po natin yung kanyang product na 8. Then, since dalawa lamang po dito yung kanyang x and y, and therefore, once lang po natin sila isusulat. Pagkatapos po natin kuhanin yung kanilang prime factors and expand the variable, we just drop down their common factors. Meron tayo ditong dalawang 2, common po sila sa isa't isa. Then we have also x and your y. So, yung common factor, which is 2 times 2, we just multiply, that is equals to 4. And x times y is also xy. Therefore, our common factor is 4xy. That is your final answer. Now, for instance, we're going to try and to find for their next factor. Para makuha po natin ang next factor ng atin pong expression, titingnan lamang po natin dito yung kanilang natira kanina. Di po ba kanina ang common factor natin, ito ay nawala na? At ito po, pag sinabi natin common factor, parehas po sila meron. Para dito sa second factor, ang natira po natin is y, 4 na y, at doon naman po sa 8, xy is 2 na lang. Kaya po ang ating maging common factor is y to the fourth power at yung kaniyang 2 na nasa gitna, which is equals to 2. That is your final answer. For our next problem, we're going to find the missing term so that m squared plus blank plus 36 forms a perfect square. In this case, madali lamang po ang ating gagawin. Ang titinan lamang po natin yung kanyang last term. Since perfect square naman po yun, sigurado po tayo na ang kanyang factor ng m squared is also m. So, ang titingnan lang po natin yung atin pong last term, which is equals to 36. At isa pa, since addition naman po ang ating operation, so need not to worry. Wala po tayong dapat ipag-alala. Dahil po, ang ating concern is only the last term. Ano po ba yung number na pag minultiply natin sa kanyang sarili, ang sagot is 36. And that number is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. And if we add 6 plus 6, that is equals to 12. And therefore, yung 12 na yan, yun po ang ating magiging middle term. And just write m as your variable of your factor. And that is your final answer. By the way, saan ang galing yung m? Dito po yun. Since we have m here, we have m squared, just subtract 1. That is equals to m na lang. Yung m na yan, yun pong ilalagay po natin dito. That is your final answer. Next, for your next problem, we're going to find out the factor of n squared minus 3n minus 10. In this case, titingnan din po natin yung possible factor ng 10. So, ito po yun. Ang factor ng 10 is equals to 2 times negative 5. Remember that when we multiply 2 times negative 5, ang kanyang sagot is negative 10. And therefore, silang dalawa ay tama para dito. Next natin na hakbang is to add 2 plus negative 5. Kung i-add po natin yung 2 and negative 5, since unlike sign po sila, we just subtract and copy the sign of the bigger number. So, 5 minus 2, that is equals to 5, and the sign of the bigger number is negative 3. And tama po siya dito. And for that, we got your final answer. And therefore, the factor of n squared minus 3n minus 10 is equals to n plus 2. Ito po yung 2 na yan. And n minus 5. You got your final answer. Now, let's have more examples on factoring. At this time, we're going to factor m squared minus 25. This is a perfect binomial. So since this is a perfect binomial, we simply factored out m times m. We have m times m. And the sign is always positive and negative. Sir, pwede po bang ma-interchange yung kanilang sign? Yes, hindi po yan makakaapekto sa kanyang sagot. And therefore, pwede pong mangyari na iyong magiging factor pag ganito ang case, this is negative and this is your positive sign. Next natin titingnan ay ang second term or the last term. Ano po ba yung number na pwede po natin i-multiply sa kanyang sarili na ang sagot ay 25? Obviously, that is equals to 5. And if we multiply 5 times 5, that is equals to 25. Pag nakuha mo na yung number na yan, you got your final answer. And therefore, yung kanilang factor is 5 and we have 5. So, your factor now is m plus 5 and m minus 5. Let's have example number 2. For your example number 2, this is a perfect trinomial. Pag perfect trinomial, ang titingnan po natin yung kanyang nasa first term and the last term. Pero tatandaan natin na later on, we are going to consider the middle term. At this time, yung first term muna. Ano po ba yung possible factor ng first term? That is equals to, we have m and m. Dito po kasi inilagay ko na yung kanyang sign. Pag nakita natin ang isang problem na perfect trinomial, ibig sabihin nun, there's a 64, positive and negative po yung nandito, agad-agad ang kanilang magiging sign ay parehas po negative. Kanina kasi negative 1, walang other sign, walang third term. Then, after na makuha mo na ang factor ng ating pong variable, ang next na gagawin natin is to find for the factor of your constant number, which is the last term. Ano po ba yung number na that when we multiply that number by itself, ang sagot is 64? Obviously, that is equals to 8. So, if we multiply 8 times 8, that is equal to 64, positive. Kaya lang, ang nakalagay dito is negative 16, yung middle term. And therefore, we have to consider the sign. So, ang gagawin po natin, we're going to multiply negative 8 times negative 8, that is also equals to positive 64. And if we add this 2, that is equals to negative 16. So, ang kukuhanin po natin na factor, yung parehas po negative. And therefore, your final answer is m minus 8 and m minus 8. Ganun lang po kadali mag-factor ng isang given expression. Let's have another example. What will you multiply 2m plus 7 to make a perfect square? Pag ganito ang tanong, madali lang po natin yan masasagutan. Ang atin po ditong magiging palatandaan or clue ay ang perfect square. So, we have the word perfect square. Pag perfect square, tatandaan po natin na ang factor ng perfect square ay lagi pong ganito. Plus at saka minus. Then, lagi po silang magkaparehas ng number. So, ano ngayon ang kaniyang magiging sagot? That is equals to m plus 7 and m minus 7. Ang kabaliktaran po nun, m minus 7. And so, our final answer is m minus 7. Now, kung nagdududa ka at gusto mong malaman kung talagang tama ang iyong sagot, just check your answer. Just multiply m plus 7 and m minus 7. And if we multiply that number, tingnan natin dito, m times m, that is equals to m squared. You have m times negative 7, that is equals to negative 7. Then we have m times 7, that is equals to positive 7m. And if we multiply positive 7 times negative 7, that is equals to negative 49. Then kung mapapansin natin, we have to cancel out this kasi magkaiba po sila, same number, magkaiba ng sign. And your final answer is m squared minus 49, which is also a perfect square. Have a nice day and happy learning. Good luck.